Well, hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome into Chatterbox Reds. Nick Kirby joined by my guy Alex Wallace. Alex helping us out last minute. Trace had a kids baseball game that got delayed. Alex, my friend, how we doing?
Well, hopefully, usually when people ask me that throughout the day, I say, well, the Reds haven't played yet, so we'll let you know later. But hopefully we can seal the victory this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a tight game all game. Reds put out a couple big insurance runs here in the top of the ninth, and here we go. Emilio Pagan, Kyle Farmer, old friend.
Kyle Farmer was on the Jim Day podcast recently. Did you catch that?
I did not.
It was the Pagan. It was the Pagan episode. He's quite the guy. We'll just say that.
I do like Kyle Farmer a lot, the person. Believe it or not, it's kind of hard to listen to podcasts when you record one 365 days a year.
Well, full disclosure, I think I did it while I was mowing the grass. So
that's when I podcast listen the most.
Yeah, he said, Jim, why do you only call me when you're trying to record a podcast?
The blind side zone. Got a little Chase Burns action going on right now as well.
I saw that trying to keep are blowing that up.
Yeah, trying to keep an eye on that as well. So we'll talk about that as this goes on. I'm gonna try to switch screens to see that a little bit better during the show. And
I think that's the free game of the day, right, Nick?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. They've really done a good job, I will say. I mean, I have the package, so like it doesn't matter to me. But they have been putting, whenever the Reds have a top pitching prospect, even Chase Petty, a lot of his have been free games of the day too. His starts, so you can get quite a bit of them for free. I think you get all the Reds MILB if you just buy the audio package.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think if you buy the audio package, you can log in even like on your TV and you can get the MILB games included. But I'm really a Pagan back-to-back Ks.
He's been impressive this year. You talked about him last night on the show.
Yeah.
Super impressive. He's been great. No free ads, but he also talked about his carnivore diet.
He's a carnivore guy.
He's a carnivore guy, yeah.
Okay.
He said him and his wife bought like a half a cow, and that's all they've been eating.
I would imagine Nick Martini is a carnivore guy too.
Well, you'll find out about Nick Martini when you listen to the Jim Day podcast. Kyle Farmer drops a couple clues about
this
him.
is just a whole ad for the Jim Day podcast.
I've listened to you, Nick, for a while, and I know that's the only one that you like to talk about.
Nah, Jim Day podcast is elite. They do a great job.
You know, when there's no drama, no Alexis Diaz drama in the ninth with Emilio Pagan, you have to talk about some new facts we found out about Emilio.
Well, he just walked Nick Martini on 4 pitches, so let's not say there's no drama here, Alex.
Yeah, my internet must be a little slow because I think I'm about a pitch or two behind.
Oh man, he just been cruising the last couple of nights, and then just 4 straight balls to Nick Martini. Oh, that's the one thing you can't do. The one thing you can't do in the 9th inning in this ballpark is walk guys.
Well, that's why you have insurance runs.
Yeah. Well, there's Dinger behind the plate. All right. Oh, that doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. If he got on base,
they scored a run. It's 6-4, right?
Yeah, it is 6-4. Looks like the Canadian score bug's behind too. Let's see if I can update this. Oh, they're behind.
By the way, John Sadak last night. Oh, geez, Friedel. I mean, was saying that Amador was just not great, and this dude hit a home run got an RBI in the ninth. Like, John, we need to cool it down a little bit.
Oh, I'm screwing this up. Gee.
Mike, I see your comment. I know. I jinxed it.
All right, there we go. I mean, that was a pretty ugly play by Friedel, but it was like completely inconsequential because the only run that matters right now is Doyle.
Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah. Do not love that he gets a chance to be the tying run here. Do not like that at all.
Oof.
And I don't like the fact that he's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Yeah, you got to waste some stuff here. Oh! Wait till you see this pitch. I think it was a ball, but oh man, that was a great pitch.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Let me see it. Here, go ahead, Nick. Hit. Oh.
All right. Alex,
start a show.
Do the honors.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Walker. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Reds win.
Well, hey, what's going on? Welcome into the Chatterbox Reds post-game show. Nick Kirby joined alongside Alex Wallace. Reds beat the Rockies 6-4. Reds have now won 3 in a row, back above 500 at 14-13. Alex, my friend, how we doing?
We're doing great, and the road trip, the 6-3 road trip that I predicted this time last week is still alive.
Still alive. Big game tomorrow. Man, I know a lot of people would scoff at sweeping a team like the Rockies, but I mean, we talked about this a little bit last night. The Rockies are due to win at some point. Like, they do have some big league players in the roster. You know, I think back to when the Reds were 3-22. The Reds went on a decent stretch of baseball where they won some games. The Rockies will at some point, I would think, have a couple weeks of good baseball. Thankfully, it at least hasn't started here on Friday and Saturday. We'll see as how tomorrow goes. But look, big win for the Reds. Big bounce back after 2 tough losses in Miami on Monday and Tuesday, and kind of getting back on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about it during the 9th inning. Some of these acquisitions that the Reds had over the offseason, including today's hero, Hayes, fantastic. I mean, 2 home runs. Continues to add to the offense and protecting Elly in the lineup. And Gavin Lux has been great as well. A little less power than I expected coming over to the Reds. I thought maybe he had a little bit more looking into his numbers in LA. He's never really produced that. But he has a high batting average. He's been getting some more doubles, more double power lately. Overall, a really good hitter. And then obviously the other home run today, Noelvi. But I think I might get ahead of you, Nick, and you may have a box score recap to go through to talk about those.
Well, we, of course, have a box score recap. We'll get to that here in just a second. If you're joining us today, thank you as always. Please like the stream. That really does help us out. Would appreciate that. Would like some likes. And we got a couple super chats from RD711. And this one belongs to who, Alex?
The Reds.
Not the Rockies. And another one from RD711. Trace getting Wally pipped by Alex. Uh-oh. We'll see. A lot of show left.
There's a lot of show left.
All right, let's get into the box score recap here. Reds taking on the Colorado Rockies, game 2 of 3 at Coors Field. Rockies come in 4-21 on the season. Hunter Greene against Antonio Senzatela. Top of the second, Reds jumped out to a 2-0 lead on a Noelvi Marte 2-run homer. But in the bottom of the second, Rockies responded with a 2-run home run of their own from Michael Toglia, tied up at 2. But in the top of the fourth, Austin Hayes hit a solo home run to make it 3-2. But once again, the Rockies responded with a solo home run of their own, tied it at 3 in the bottom of the fifth. But Austin Hayes back at it in the top of the sixth. He hit his second home run of the day, put the Reds up 4-3. Now, Hunter Greene had to battle through it today, but overall in Coors Field, a pretty solid day. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Scott Barlow threw a perfect 7th. Alexis Diaz, a very strong 8th inning, including pitching around a error by Marte that put a runner in scoring position, was the tying run at the time. Then the Reds played add-on in the top of the 9th. You certainly love to see that. Let's run through what happened in the top of the 9th. The Reds started off the inning with a Jose Trevino walk, then a TJ Friedl single. Then with 1 out, Elly De La Cruz singled home a run to make it 5-3. And then with 2 outs, Spencer Steer singled home another run to make it 6-3. Did get a little interesting in the bottom of the 9th. Emilio Pagan struck out the first 2 batters. Looked like he was cruising, but then he walked Nick Martini, gave up a double, but then he struck out the Rockies' best player by a country mile, Brenton Doyle, for a 6-4 win for your Reds. Reds have now won 3 straight, 14-13 on the season. And as always, we have a deep drive of the day sponsored by Deep South Commodities. Let's see if we can fix that. No, maybe not. All right. Our deep drive of the day is sponsored by Deep South Commodities. It is Noelvi Marte's home run. It was the furthest ball hit of the day, 233 feet, 107.3 off the bat. And as always, our deep drive of the day is proudly sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Check out deepsouthcommodities.com. All right, Alex, let's jump right into it here. Let's start off with Austin Hayes. I mean, 2 home runs. I mean, this guy has just been unbelievable here to start the year. Just hitting a cool 386, OPS over 1,200. Too early to call it the greatest signing in the history of the Cincinnati Reds?
Maybe a little too early, but certainly one of the best free agent signings they've had lately, are certainly best value. You almost can say best value at this point. And I know in spring training, I put this out on X, and I know you picked it up. If he can do the Ryan Ludwig season of 2012, that's what we're looking for. Just shy of 30 home runs, and just provide more length to the lineup. It's a fantastic deal. And just a tad upsetting that he might not be here next year. Obviously, he has a mutual option. Those are probably not mutually viewed at this point. He'll want to go test the free agent market again. But he has the pedigree. He'll turn 30 years old this summer. I wonder what it would take to sign him to an extension, but I know we're getting a little early to it. And obviously, I think he would want to test the free agent market. He's coming here to show off, use Great American Ballpark to his advantage, and then move on to other pastures. But he's not an old guy. I think at 30, we could use him for the next 3 to 4 years. I'd like to see that type of a Tyler O'Neill deal, but obviously lower. I don't think he's worth that overall contract.
Yeah. If I was Austin Hayes' agent, I would tell him there's no way in hell you should even think about signing a contract extension unless someone's backing up the Brinks truck for you right now. He's 29 years old. I mean, he was an all-star 2 years ago, and this guy seems like a guy that's very confident in his ability and wants to prove people wrong. So I don't think there's any way Austin Hayes is going to go sign a contract right now.
Do you extend him a qualifying offer?
Yeah, that was where I was going to go next. That's what excites me. I mean, this guy's playing well enough to get a qualifying offer. And you know me, everyone freaks out about how Nick Castellanos didn't opted out. It was one of the best things that's happened to the Reds. Yep. Sal Stewart looks like one of the best prospects in baseball right now, and the Reds got him for free because Nick Castellanos opted out. It could happen the exact same thing with Austin Hayes. Now, again, you have to hit on that draft pick, but those draft picks are crazy valuable. I love that baseball, that they went away with them for a year, and they got it collectively bargained back. I think it's great for small markets like the Reds. Again, honestly, I think the qualifying offer might be more attractive. The pick might be more attractive than an extension for a guy that would probably have a career year this year. I'm not against re-signing him, but it would have to really make sense for the Reds. I'm not forcing it, and I love the idea of getting a qualifying offer for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, and we've seen it too. And I think Nick Martinez was an example. I think the Reds were okay with the qualifying offer. They certainly were. And we've talked about that on this show. I know you've reviewed it a few times with the pitching market. But you guys were on last year during the trade deadline, and we could see that with Austin Hayes as well. Let's not get too, the Reds are a game over 500. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But in some cases, you'll see a team like the Reds hold on to an Austin Hayes because either they may want him and they don't want to, they could extend him, or they say, you know what we're getting on the market's not worth it. We'll just do the qualifying offer instead.
Yeah, and again, I would, caution people that are complaining about the Jeimer Candelario contract. He was in his age 29 season and had a 126 OPS plus when the Reds extended him to a 3-year deal, and now everyone complains about that contract. So I wouldn't jump too far ahead on Austin Hayes. The most exciting thing for me is he's playing great in this year, and he's playing well enough that he's on the trajectory that you can extend him a qualifying offer. He's not going to accept the quality. I don't think he would. Although I never say never. I would be completely fine with him on a 1-year deal. Again, I'm always a guy that loves the short-term deals over the long-term deals because that's what can bite you. So that's where I'm at. I probably am against extending him unless it just really makes sense. But I don't I just don't think players that are kind of in Austin Hayes' mold make a lot of sense for the Reds to extend to multi-year deals. So,
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on to Noelvi Marte.
Now talk about a guy who's going to be here for a while.
Yeah. 6 years of control still left because he was an idiot last year and did steroids. And so he got suspended and cost himself a year of service time. And, here on April 26th, that looks like a great deal for the Reds. Because let's be honest. If Noelvi Marte played all of last year, the Reds aren't making the playoffs. It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it did not matter at all because they would have taken 89 wins to get in. I don't think Noelvi Marte was worth 12 wins last year.
Certainly not.
So him getting suspended, it might be a great deal for the Reds. It's just so great to see him playing well. Did have another boneheaded error in the 8th inning that could have really cost the Reds. Shout out to Alexis Diaz, that we'll talk about in a second, for pitching around that. A play that he probably should have just eaten at third base and not thrown away and put a runner into scoring position. But the way he's just seeing the ball, his at-bats, his confidence just looks through the roof right now.
He absolutely does. And I want to stay on Marte, but I did notice something. We've seen Marte a couple times cut in front of Elly, and he did that in the 8th inning. And as our favorite broadcaster, Barry Larkin, likes to say, we have multiple shortstops in the infield. So he has that range. Do you think that helps Elly, though, in the long run and then the short run? Because he's able to, I've kind of noticed he's playing a little relaxed. It seems like he likes playing with Marte. And ever since he's been playing there regularly, we haven't seen Elly make those superhero catches over in foul territory because Marte's there. He's not having to rely on Candelario. But so I'm interested to talk about his defense too. But like you said, his offense is just, he's doing everything. He's hitting for power. That ball he hit in Miami was just otherworldly. But today, another home run, and all of his at-bats are just competitive. And that's, to me, the most important part.
It's a great point about, him helping Elly range-wise on the left side of the infield. I think there's definitely something to that. Certainly, it's a massive upgrade over Candelario. And RD711 in the chat, Marte's young. He's going to make errors as he matures. Yes, we have to always acknowledge that. Barry Larkin committed 18 billion errors his first couple of years in the big leagues and ended up being one of the best shortstops to ever play the game offensively and defensively. So these guys deserve a lot of grace as they're learning. But and he made a really nice play last night. I think you're going to see a lot of inconsistencies with Marte defensively, maybe even more so than offensively right now. We'll see. It's a long season, but I just think, we envisioned it going into last year. Marte, De La Cruz, McLean.
Yep.
I mean, you're kind of seeing it into fruition. I know everyone's down on Matt McLean because he's had a bad couple weeks, just like they'll get down on the next guy when he has a bad couple weeks. But Matt McLean's going to be fine. And, I mean, this infield right now at this moment is just incredible. I mean, it's been a roller coaster because you thought you had something great. And then there was like a lot of cracks in the surface there. And it felt like, is Marte going to be that guy? Oh, is McLean going to stay healthy? Well, right now, I mean, it's exactly what you envisioned.
And not to, we have to do our Elly segment for the day. Elly, I think a 10-game hitting streak extended today, but he's not hitting. His power has not really came in yet this year. I mean, he's hit a few home runs. He's ran into a couple, but these are long at bats, and he pushes them through the infield. He did that 2 or 3 times today. Again, he's becoming more of a well-rounded player, not just a 100% power, but we all know he can, hit a ball to the river if he'd like.
Yeah, it was a big at bat in the game. From Elly that you were talking about in the 9th inning against a pretty good pitcher in Kenley. Saw 6 pitches in that, or no, he saw 11 pitches. I'm sorry, in that at bat. Hit a slider for the single. So I mean, just Elly's Elly. I mean, you have to be excited overall with kind of what you're seeing, and this lineup's this lineup's playing well, and again, we'll see what happens after Coors Field. Thankfully, the Cardinals are up next. Not necessarily a juggernaut, especially. I really like the Reds' chances against the St. Louis bullpen. Right
and
now
they've been very poor on the road this year as well. The Cardinals have,
and right now as it lines up, the Cardinals could change anything because I think they actually have a 6-man rotation at the moment. The Reds are right now look like they would miss Sonny Gray, so that would be good. All right. Any other thoughts on the offense? Anything else, Alex, that stuck out to you today?
Not today. We touched on Hayes, we touched on Marte. Gavin Lux is still hitting two. It seems like he's getting 2 hits a day, which is just fantastic. And what I looked this up last year because before the ninth inning, a couple extra added runs. And we're crossing our fingers for the 6-3 road trip and a sweep tomorrow. But the Reds swept the Rockies in Colorado last year as well. The scores of those games were 13-3, 4-1, 12-7. It really felt like today was going to be that 4-1 game. And in all honesty, kind of a low scoring game for Colorado. The Rockies, they're not great. They have Doyle, who's by far their best player. And then that Beck kid hit 2 home runs last night. I just don't feel like any lead's safe out there in Denver. So you just got to keep tacking the runs on. They've done that. And then the bullpen stepped up.
Yeah, we'll talk about the bullpen here in a second. But yeah, I mean, that just what the bullpen's done has been huge. But TJ Friedl, 3-hit day, quietly hitting 295 right now. Had a double today. Spencer Steer had 2 more hits. The good thing is that most of the guys that have played well in this series were like already trending well.
Mm-hmm.
So because if it was just like guys that if it was Candelario, for example, but we'll talk about him in the back half too as well. I think it'd be a little more like that's probably fool's gold. It's Colorado, but everyone that's playing well was trending that way going into the series. So they're just kind of building off of it. Because you certainly do not want to ever make too big of a deal out of what happens with the offense in Colorado. But
what's your thoughts with Spencer Steer?
I mean, he looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I said it last night. I'm trying just to move past the terrible decision to put him on the opening day roster.
Yeah.
And now is he that player? I still think long term he's not good enough offensively to be an everyday first baseman. I think you need him to be able to play in the outfield. But I mean, I guess for the time being, kind of where the Reds are at, it's okay. But eventually, I think you have to get him back out in the outfield.
Yeah, I don't have the stats to back this up. I didn't come this prepared. I've always viewed Steer as either a poor man's Ben Zobrist or like a Ben Zobrist, where they can throw him around anywhere. He's going to play 5 days a week or so, and just giving guys breaks. And right now, with CES out, I guess first base is really his home for the time being. I agree with you. I don't think first base, even though Major League Baseball has really moved away from power hitting first baseman, it seems. The era, the Joey Votto era with the Pujols, the Ryan Howards, 2000s up to, the 2000s decade, those big time first basemen, we don't really have those across the league anymore. So maybe he fits into that, but I prefer Steer more in that super utility role.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, I think that's where his biggest value is by far. But yeah, it's great to see the Reds the Reds are 13-1 in their last 14 games against the Rockies. I mean, how many times in the past have we talk about the Reds that they can't take care of business against teams that should take care of business? They have taken care of business against the Colorado Rockies. And it's one of those things that when you do it, it kind of gets you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
When you don't, it's a huge deal, and pitchforks are out, right?
I wonder could we I wonder if the Reds could put in a request to move the Brewers to the West and then the Rockies to the Central. Just throwing that out there as a suggestion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks would not be a fan of that, knowing they already have to deal with the juggernaut of the Los Angeles Dodgers. But Nonetheless, good stuff today. All right, let's talk real quick about our friends over at Game Time. As always, Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Sports, the best place for last-minute tickets. I feel like me, I'm always the guy who is getting tickets and really everything in life at the last minute. And the deals on Game Time, it's not really any different. Whether you do it, whether you look for your tickets today or you wait till 6:15 on Monday night when you want to go down to the Cardinals game. All in pricing, they show you the total with your fees before checking out. Love that. Panoramic seat views in the app. Also have event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled, and always the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our code CBox for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CBox, CBOX, for $20 off. Alex, what time is it?
Game time.
All right. And as always, I want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. Whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between, it's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. Be sure to send that to your friends in the Denver area. All right, let's talk about Hunter Greene today. I feel like he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I mean, made a couple mistake pitches. They were both sliders. And obviously, we know what Coors Field does to your breaking pitches. Other than that, I love that he didn't walk anyone. I mean, that's the biggest issue in Coors Field. Did not walk a single batter. And just this wasn't like his best start, but this was one of those like, this is your dude. This is kind of what you just kind of expect to get out of him.
It's exactly what I had written down in my notes, and a great bounce back from last Saturday in Baltimore, his 3-inning outing. So to come back and pitch in a difficult park like Colorado, you have to battle through those as an ace. And like you said, it certainly was not his best outing that we've seen this year. And he's just been so fantastic. We're almost getting spoiled by watching him every 5 days. But today he worked through it. He did have a high pitch count of, the first couple innings, gave up that home run, then gave up that wall scraper to the Rockies second baseman. But he got through it. He got us through 6 innings and helped save the bullpen from really last night, really working last night from Abbott's short outing. So, like you said, he's the dude and he's our guy. I mean, he is our ace. And he's shown it early on to be so dominant, but also those aces are going to have games like today where they are miss a couple pitches here and there, but overall they are keeping you in the game, especially in such a tough place to pitch.
Yeah, 20 swing and misses today. I mean, the Rockies are the ultimate swing and miss team. If you think the Reds swing and miss a lot, go watch the Rockies play for a couple weeks.
No, I'm good.
But he got a lot of swing and misses. And again, when you're not able to really have all your pitches working, to still be able to get that many swing and misses is pretty impressive. So yeah, just the good stuff from Hunter Greene. Just he's that guy. I mean, he's that guy. I mean, this is the kind of start where you're just like that's our ace, able to just to battle through, give your team a chance to win, and obviously they did today. The Reds bullpen in this series has been just fantastic. I mean, this is I'm telling you, you can get taken for granted. But if you just watch a lot of baseball and you watch games at Coors Field, how many games do you see that's like it goes back and forth in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning? The Reds bullpen has not done that. I mean, Ian Jabot gave up a couple runs. He was hurt, so he got put on the IL today. After that, they've really been pretty much lights out. Scott Barlow, you mentioned him at the beginning, pitching much better. Looked like, this guy's, I mean, they're not paying him much. So it's not like, oh, what a bad signing. They're paying him like $2 million, which is chump change for a reliever. But he's pitching better. I love the job that Alexis Diaz. I was nervous as hell when he came in the 8th inning. And I thought the job that he did, especially after that Marte error. It's just so great to see Diaz not let a mistake get compounded, because that's what it feels like always happens to him. Either it's his own mistakes where he's walking guys, or someone else makes a mistake. But just to bear down after that, what a huge inning from Alexis Diaz.
Well, and I told you, I jumped on the stream early to make sure that didn't have to go live in the ninth. I just don't trust the guy. And I was in the chat 2 years ago saying to trade him, but we're going to move past that. What a good outing today by Diaz. He, like you said, got past that distraction and was able to move on to the ninth, so we could get Pagan in. But I saw this morning, our friend G-Dub, the only beat reporter for the Reds this weekend, since Charlie's taking care of the draft, report that Lyon Richardson was coming in. And I thought, well, there's got to be an injury, because the only two guys with options are Ashcraft and Diaz. And, what we've seen is, and all these guys clamoring for Luis May and Maxwell to come up from Louisville. Well, who are you going to move on from? The season's we have such a long runway, and with how the bullpen's constructed, now they've done very well, outside of a couple hiccups here and there. But the last few games, they've done fantastic. There's really not a guy to move on from unless there's an injury, and that's what we saw with Jabot.
Lyon Richardson been pitching pretty well down at Louisville. Had a really impressive outing. Maybe it might have been his most recent outing at Louisville, where he pitched the 10th and 11th inning, stranded the ghost runner in both innings. So that was really cool. I'm glad to see Lyon get another chance. I'd love to see him kind of run with it. It might be a very short stay for him. It might have just been he was the freshest guy. He can give you multiple innings. You love to kind of have that extra arm in Coors Field. I wouldn't be shocked if Lyon pitches tomorrow and they make another swap on Monday. But I like Lyon. I think there's some potential there. Was a top prospect at one point, then had Tommy John surgery, missed like over a whole year, was really, really great in the Reds organization in 2023, started in Daytona, worked it all the way through. And then, just wasn't really able to get over the hump when he got to the big leagues. And then last year took a big step back, but now they're trying him as a reliever. And I think he has the stuff and the potential to be another at least option for the Reds in the bullpen.
Yeah, and I think that 2023 he did like that emergency start, and is when he made his debut. That's one thing that I've and I know I've heard your opinion, and we've gone back and forth a little bit with it. The one thing that we've seen the Brewers do is develop these bullpen arms, and the Reds really have not developed bullpen arms other than Alexis Diaz, which kind of came out of the blue. For some of these who, and again, starting pitching depth is the currency in Major League Baseball. Everyone knows that. But for a guy like Lyon Richardson, who you're like, hey, some of the guys have passed him up, I'd like to see them expedite that a little bit quicker, so we can start really having some high leverage, high ceiling guys in the bullpen, so we don't have to rely on, a Suter or Barlow. Though they've done well, those types of signings, maybe allocate those resources elsewhere.
It's early in the season. Don't get too excited. But the Brewers bullpen, 5.06 ERA right now. 28th in Major League Baseball.
Well,
is it finally happening? Are they finally going to run out of this stupid luck that they're on?
I'm not counting them out at all. But call me crazy. Devin Williams is about to get Wally pipped for Luke Weaver. And I'd still take Devin Williams because he's scarred me for life.
Yeah, I'm very glad he's in the American League. For sure. I got another super chat. Jim Lafferty. Trace made a comment in the closing moment of last night's show, blasting us for being unable to spell. So let me get this right. See, I can't read. You can't spell. I can't read. Trace expects us to endure Cincinnati sports and excel in Cincinnati public schools. Jim, you make a great point. I mean, that's a lot of expectations here. I can't fault you, Jim. I think that's a very fair comment. I think that's fair criticism.
And as a Cincinnatian, I know it's very popular for us to tell where we went to high school. I was not a Cincinnati public school. I did go to Fairfield High School, And I did graduate college in 3.5 years. So Jim,
bringing on the big leagues today.
We're seeing what we can do.
And Jim adds on, everyone enjoy a fireball shot or two tonight. Let's go Reds. All right, Jim. You know what? Maybe I'm not going to do fireball. I can't do the sweet stuff anymore. But you know what? Maybe I'll partake in a little whiskey for you, Jim. I will think about you as I sip some bourbon. All right. Any other final thoughts on this game here, Alex, before we get into talk a little bit about Reds minor leagues, some stuff going on right now, and then talk about tomorrow's game?
Well, nothing on today's game, but you did mention it. Did you want to talk about maybe our friend Candelario's future, or would you rather talk about the minor
I forgot
league?
about that. No, I don't want to talk about Candelario ever. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Candelario. I'm really shocked that they did not give him a shot this weekend. And I mean, they'll probably play him tomorrow, I think. But still, I would have thought he would at least gets 2 starts in Colorado, a chance to get right. I would love to know what they're actually saying about Candelario behind closed doors.
I would love it.
I don't know. I'm not giving up on Candelario. I'm not. Candelario reminds me a little bit. I don't think he has as high of a ceiling by any means. He reminds me a little bit about 2021 Eugenio Suarez.
Oof.
And everyone loves Eugenio Suarez right now. How did the Reds let this guy get away? I'm glad I didn't do a post-game show in 2021 because he was ripped every single night in Cincinnati for that season. And the Reds got to a point with him where they basically played him like 1 out of every 4 days. I wonder if Candelario is kind of in that boat. They're just going to kind of sporadically play him. Hope at some point he gets out of it. Suarez did, at the end of the year when everyone else forgot how to hit in September. He was the only guy that could hit. That was a weird season. That's kind of where he's at. That's why I'm not giving up on the guy, because I'm telling you, if you watched Eugenio Suarez in 2021, that dude looked completely lost. Looked like was washed, forgot how to hit a baseball, and has still, even at times since then, had times like that. I remember the Diamondbacks were trying to get rid of him last year before the trade deadline. Then he went off. I think there's a lot of similarities between Candelario and Suarez. Although I'm admitting, I do think Suarez has a higher ceiling. Don't get me wrong, especially defensively. And I'm talking offensively, because Suarez has value defensively. Candelario has no value defensively.
Now, and I remember being very excited when the Reds signed Candelario. And I know you guys did like an emergency stream, and everyone was thrilled. I don't think the signing in retrospect, obviously hindsight's 2020, obviously not a great signing. But it was protection for third base and protection for first base if Marte or CES had a bad year last year. Obviously, Marte, we know that situation, and we know CES situation. They were both out majority of the year. So looking back, I don't think he was ever meant to take one of their spots. And obviously we have the DH slot. To your point, if he does well in the fall, while the Reds are making a playoff push and then goes to the playoffs, no one's going to remember, April and April of this year or last year. And you mentioned it on many shows. Last year, he took off in the late spring, early summer. So there's still a shot. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark when he gets a hold of it. I still think they targeted him to be a mentor for some of these young guys. And that was a big reason of the signing. He's also a switch hitter, which to me, we also have a really talented switch hitter at shortstop. I think there's more to the signing than an everyday player. But to your point, I mean, it's getting like slim pickings of him even playing.
Michael Hart reminded me Suarez playing shortstop that year. One of the worst decisions. I mean, I think Spencer Steer not starting the year on the IL might be worse, but Suarez playing shortstop, one of the worst decisions this organization's ever made. Like, you can see it a mile away. Like, the guy was not. He's actually improved defensively since then. But, like, he was coming off a bad year at third base defensively.
And a shoulder injury.
and they try to move him to shortstop. Nuts. Probably also contributed to his bad year. But again, like I see in the chat, like Candelario's not. Don't even compare him to Suarez. Like, dude, people's memory is so short. On August 30th, after the whole season, Eugenio Suarez was hitting 169 with a 255 on base percentage. I mean, that is almost an entire season. That's how bad this guy was. I mean, and that's why I'm saying, like, maybe Candelario is completely toast. I'm not saying that's not possible, because it is very much possible. But there's been players that are almost in the same age frame as Candelario is, that have just gone through a terrible rut and do find their way out of
it. Certainly anything's possible. Certainly anything's possible. That roster though is crazy. Did you see what broke last night? Our utility player from that season, Nick Senzel, signed with the Dodgers on a minor league deal.
Nick Senzel, I quit watching baseball. I'm quit watching baseball if Nick Senzel puts up an 850 OPS for the Dodgers. I don't know if I can go on.
If they turn him into Justin Turner, it's over.
Dude. I saw that. I was just like, dude, come on. Like you know he's going to be good for them too. You know it.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Disgusting. Makes me want to puke. All right. Reds MILB?
Let's hit it.
All right, let me see if I can remember how to share the screen here. But it's been a minute since I've used the old StreamYard for this. I was not about to try to do the big boy streaming service for today. All right. Here we go. Nope. Well, did we remove that? I don't know what's going on. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. Reds MILB. Here we go. All right. We did have one go final. We'll talk about that first. Dayton, they won 5-4 over West Michigan in 10 innings. Dragons now 8-12 on the season. Adam Serwanowski, I'm telling you, remember this name. He is incredible. Really good left-handed pitcher. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Now has a 1.59 ERA through 4 starts with Dayton. I think he's got a chance to really fly through this organization. I love Adam Serwanowski, an incredible pitcher that's just getting better and better and better. Not a whole lot offensively. That's been a struggle for Dayton offensively. Connor Burns had a good day, 2 for 3 with a homer. Yerlin Confidant was on base twice. Leo Balcazar, 1 for 4 with a double. Then we got a ton of just other stuff in action right now. Chase Burns got off to a rough start. He gave up a couple hits and a run in the first inning, but really settled down after that. Final line, 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts in his double-A debut. I will certainly be watching that later, kind of skimming through that and seeing what's going on. But Hector Rodriguez has 3 hits right now. He's 3 for 3. He's absolutely on fire, hitting 355. I believe that's a 10-game hit streak for him. Edwin Arroyo has 3 hits as well today. Ethan O'Donnell, 2 hits. That Chattanooga team is fun. That is a fun team right now. They have 10 hits already today. But Hector Rodriguez, Edwin Arroyo, Sal Stewart, Ethan O'Donnell, that 1 through 4 in that lineup is pretty special. They're actually playing a doubleheader, so if you want to partake, you can watch them again later in the worst minor league baseball stream in the history of minor league baseball streams. Louisville's trailing Iowa 2-1. They're also playing a doubleheader today. Looks like Carson Fulmer is pitching for the Iowa Cubs right now. Benson's got a hit. Tyler Stevenson, 1 for 2. I believe he's DHing both games today. So we'll see how that goes. Hines has 2 hits. And then Daytona, they're just getting underway. They're down 4-0 early to St. Lucie. But as always, check out the Chatterbox Reds podcast. I'll run through everything that happens with that. Alex, any minor league thoughts for you before we move on to tomorrow's game?
Yeah, just a couple. By the way, the Klingstones, I think that's a fantastic name. I really do. I had to look it up the other night. It's a type of peach. I thought that was fantastic. But obviously the Chattanooga great for them. Great for the people of Chattanooga to have a decent team this year after last year's debacle. Obviously, we're looking for Stevenson to come back healthy. I'm interested to see how long they hold him down there. You would know this. How long is a rehab assignment? Or how long is he allowed to go?
He can go up to 20 or 21 days. I can't remember 20 or 21.
They certainly won't do that. But I would expect him to probably be down there another week.
But you can also manipulate that.
Okay.
So
yeah.
What they could do is you can end your rehab assignment, come back to the team, and then I think like 2 or 3 days later they can send you back out.
Back down. Yeah.
Yeah, my shoulder's barking. I'm gonna put him back on the IL. Then we're gonna put him back on it as long as the player's okay with it, you're kind of able to manipulate that. So, yeah, I think that when Stevenson's ready, they're gonna bring him on. I don't think what's happened with the catchers situation should impact that at all. I mean, I know everyone's excited about the way Austin Wynns is playing. I'm excited about the way Austin Wynns is playing, but I'm not hesitating to bench Austin Wynns.
To me, that's an easy 1-for-1. I am interested to see how long or how much Trevino plays when Stevenson comes back. I think it's really going to be a 3-2 split. I could see Trevino getting a lot of playing time. I think they really appreciate his calling. It's been well documented. Him throwing guys out isn't great, but I think it's going to be a 1-for-1. I don't think Wynns is long for the team. But I'm excited for the Chattanooga roster, and then of course Chase Burns. I still think there's an outside chance Chase Burns is pitching for the Reds this year.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I think I'll be interested to see kind of how he adjusts to Chattanooga. But I don't. He might have a couple hiccups, but I don't think it's going to last long. I think he will be up on the big league roster at some point. I would be against 3 catchers. I think we've kind of talked about that. And there is one thing that I don't think we've discussed about 3 catchers that could be slightly problematic. It's the fact that if Austin Wynns stays on the roster and you don't really play him much, like he plays once a week or something, because the Reds are not going to bring Tyler Stevenson up and say he's only going to be a first base DH. They're not going to do that because it's not good for Tyler Stevenson's development. Now they may have him only catch like 1 out of every 3 games or maybe even 4 games. I mean, that's possible. But if that's the case, then Austin Wynns is not really going to play at all. The only problem is by not playing at all, I don't necessarily think that's good for him because you're probably going to need Austin Wynns again at some point, right? Because there's probably going to be an injury to either Trevino or Stevenson again at some point during the year. So is he able just to sit on the bench, Kirk Casali it, and still like stay fresh? Because I think Austin Wynns' biggest value is his defense. The offense has been great. It's been a huge bonus for the Reds. But the reason he's on the roster, the reason the Reds signed him, the reason the Reds paid him a higher dollar minor league contract than you typically would was because they liked the way Austin Wynns calls the game. They like the way that he works with their pitching staff. So I do wonder if that could be detrimental.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. I think about his contract. I believe it was a split contract. That means I think he gets a little bit more money when he's down in the minor leagues. And of course, many don't know the minor leaguers, they get paid once they leave minor league free agency and they sign with a different club or sign with their current club. They can sign with as much as they want. So a lot of these guys are getting paid a decent wage, especially, the Corky Millers of the world, the Austin Wynns of the world. Austin Wynns, they probably want him to go down and be with the Chase Pettys and be with some of the higher end pitchers who will be on the big club this year, just so that when that transition comes up, they know how the big league clubs run. And we know over the past many years, Derek Johnson, director of pitching, a lot of that information's come top down as well. So I think they value Austin Wynns down in Louisville for sure.
Shout out Chris R. I guess Hector Rodriguez just hit his first AA home run. So shout out to Hector Rodriguez. Playing well. All right, Reds back at it Sunday, going for a sweep against the Rockies, 3:10 p.m. Nick Lodolo against Ohio's own Ryan Feltner. Feltner comes in 0-1, 3.86 ERA, 4.69 FIP. Made 66 career big league starts, a career 5.13 ERA. went to Ohio State. So he is a Buckeye. Is coming off a great start. Allowed just 1 run over 7 innings against the Royals last time out. Throws 6 different pitches: 4-seamer, changeup, slider, sweeper, sinker, and curve. That sinker average is 93.8. 0-2 with a 7.15 career ERA and 2 starts against the Reds. Both of those came last season. Active Reds, 14 for 36. It's a 389 average, 991 OPS. Gavin Lux is 2 for 7. Elly De La Cruz, 2 for 5 with a double. Spencer Steer, 1 for 4. And Jeimer Candelario is 5 for 9 with a homer and a double.
Is that enough sample size for you to start him tomorrow, Nick?
If Jeimer Candelario is not playing tomorrow, I'm very curious what is going on with Candelario. Reds going with Nick Lodolo. Last 2 starts haven't been his sharpest. 10 1/3, 12 hits, 7 runs. That's a 6.10 ERA. Has pitched well against the Rockies, although he's never pitched in Coors Field. I do not love that. I don't love a guy making his first ever start at Coors Field. 3.72 ERA and 2 starts against the Rockies, but those are both at Great American Ballpark. Active Rockies are 5 for 13. Toglia, or however the hell you say his name, he has a home run. And, of course, Britton Doyle has a home run against Nick Lodolo. Any thoughts on Nick Lodolo before we wrap this up?
I'll keep it short. I think I'm slightly concerned. Is he turning into the Chris Welsh, the crafty left-hander, where we are expecting the second coming of Chris Sale? The strikeouts, the lack of strikeouts, have really concerning me this year. Seems like he couldn't get anybody out by himself. With the strikeout, with that being in the altitude of Denver, it makes me nervous and really I just really want this 6-3 road trip, Nick. So, like I said, I've been preaching that since last Saturday. And since we're on the doorstep of it, I'm just ready for it to happen. So looking forward to watching him pitch tomorrow, but really hoping he can turn it around a little bit. But I think I told Sam Keithley last week, what's tough is when he's compared to and comes behind Hunter Greene almost every start, it's kind of hard to tough for him because you're comparing him to a fantastic outing the night before. So hopefully he can come through, but we're going 6-3 on the road trip, and we're 2 games above 500 tomorrow. I feel it.
I like it. Good stuff. Well, Alex, really do appreciate you coming on here last minute. Great job today. Trace will be back tomorrow. We'll be back at 9 p.m. our normal Sunday night time. Hopefully recapping a sweep and getting you ready for Reds Cardinals. As always, please like the stream on the way out. Be sure to check out the Chatterbox Reds podcast everywhere you get podcasts. Again, I'll have some more notes on the Reds minor leagues and stuff in that tomorrow. And then did want to make sure I shouted out some great content here on Chatterbox Sports. If you are a NFL fan, Bengals fan, Jacob Tissett and Craig Salen have been doing recaps. They have 3 videos that got posted in the last 21 hours. They recapped the Bengals, a full video on Demetrius Knight Jr. and Dylan Fairchild. And they just posted an hour ago a 16-minute video recapping the Bengals picks from today, giving you all the news and nuggets for that. So be sure to check that out. Go watch that right now if you can. And then Chatterbox Bengals is also available everywhere you get podcasts. Not sure if everyone knows that. So if you were able to check that out, I know most of you, we begged you enough. You probably have left us a 5-star review, but if you could leave them a 5-star review, kind of help them grow that podcast, that would be much appreciated. Well, again, Alex, appreciate you, my friend. Reds go for a sweep tomorrow. We'll be here at 9 p.m. tomorrow night to talk about it. Go Reds. Where's the outro?
Go Reds.
Where's the outro?